deep from a bunker in a top-secret location. In southern Indiana comes a gathering of the Gospel Broalition. If it's religion, politics, cars, guns, cigars, and anything else flammable, we're talking about it. For men, by manlier men. Get it? Got it? Good. This is the Gospel Broalition. And here are your hosts, Pastor Lee, J.R. Robinson, and the Hoosier Hillbilly, Mike Paul.
All right, I forgot what I was going to talk about. Okay. I was going to talk about something else, and then I didn't want to give any information. It's like when you go on vacation, you'll never tell anybody you're going on vacation because they'll break into your house. But in case you want it to break in my house, it's fine. I have an alarm system and plenty of cameras, so take a picture of you. Hi, everybody. We're the Gospel Broalition. Pastor Lee here, joined on my left by Dauntless Gaming's J.R. Robinson. To my right, the Hoosier Hillbilly, Mike Paul. And as always, joined in the studio by the Bro Migos, sweet Tony, who we missed last week.
We did.
We missed your presence.
We didn't have our token black person.
I know. And Shutup Cameron, our token liberal and sound guy, who's doing a fantastic job. I keep telling him that every week, but I know how liberals are. You
really have to be nice.
You have to keep encouraging them because you never know. They're snowflakes and they'll smelt on you. So did you see
he's
the
still
news?
the video guy.
Still the video guy. He's a video guy,
yeah.
Right? Not sound guy. Well, he is sound guy.
Sounds over there.
He's kind of a sound guy.
He's a video guy.
He has to hit all the buttons to make the sound work.
He's the producer.
He is. He's the producer
We're
of the Gospel
by a
Broalition.
liberal. We're liberally produced.
That's right. Well, we're equal opportunity.
That's right.
So the United States women's soccer team lost. Good.
Surprise.
I saw your Facebook post.
I put it up and then I took
Go
it
Sweden.
down because I found out. I put on my Facebook page, "Go Sweden," and
And Sweden won.
yeah, they won. But then, in case you don't know, out of the I think 10 members of the team, 8 of them,
3 of them stood up, didn't they?
3 of them stood up.
I think it was 6 down, 3 up, or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
And but then I found out that actually during the anthem, the Swedish team knelt as well.
Oh.
Yeah, but they're
Well,
not
out
from
now.
America.
Yeah,
so,
but that's
I mean,
not. You don't do that, man. That's disrespectful. You just don't do that. So I'm so tired of the kneeling. It's like, what does it do?
Speaking of the
virtue signal.
Well, I mean, what changes in the world when somebody kneels for the anthem?
It ticks a lot of people off.
I know.
That's about it. Honestly, it just makes people mad. And the people that actually care about the virtue signal thing, they don't really care.
it gets attention and causes division.
Yes.
It doesn't do any good.
No.
You're
Did
trying.
I hear it correctly that they are playing? Maybe I read the article header wrong. I didn't read the whole thing. But it said something about a black national anthem before our regular national anthem.
Well, they were wearing BLM shirts, were they not?
They were wearing Black Lives. They weren't wearing United States shirts. They were wearing Black Lives Matter because that's who they represent.
It wasn't the Olympics. It was our local. It was like NFL this year.
The NFL teams are going to start playing the black national anthem. There is no black national anthem. There's no white national anthem. It's just the national anthem.
What's theirs?
That's a
Does it
shame
have
I
more
gave up
bass in it?
football.
It
It's a shame
is.
I don't watch it anymore.
I don't watch it anymore. Tom Brady stabbed Trump in the back. Did you see that?
What?
Oh, I didn't see it.
My hero, Tom Brady.
Yeah. Well, they don't know how to read it.
Unbelievable.
It's either he stabbed him in the back or he was making he was trolling Biden. So they don't know. It's hard to figure out.
I'm going to
either
go
one.
on the side he was trolling Biden because
Well,
he's Tom Brady.
I don't
He's
know.
the
But I
goat.
don't know why people kneel for stuff. Because it doesn't. All you do is piss people off when you do that, and it doesn't get anybody on your side. It doesn't get anybody. Hey, you don't want they're kneeling. Maybe I'll look at this black crime. You know,
It divides the country.
It just divides the
even
country.
more.
Yeah, it's like somebody's going. You know what? Firefighters don't get paid enough, so to bring awareness to this, we're going to burn your house down.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's down outside there burning your house, going. You know, I never really thought about that. That's a good point. It's like you're going to piss them off.
Yeah.
It's the
And
same
so when
thing
you kneel
with
for the flag, that's all you're doing. You're not getting anybody to come over to your side.
And you're basically spitting on the graves of everyone that has ever died for you.
Yeah,
For your country, for your freedom to be able to do that.
When they start taking their money and they start giving their money to inner cities, like their entire paycheck, then I'll start taking them seriously.
True.
but they won't. They're not going to do that. They're going to continue to get their money and their sponsorships and
Well, it's
all
like
this stuff.
Mr. LeBron James and all his.
Yeah, you got millions, man.
Yeah, give it to all the black neighborhoods.
Yeah, he has enough money for a black community. He could hire an all black police force.
Absolutely, he could.
He could do that. Yeah, you NFL athletes, you could do that, but you don't do that. All you do is just talk, and you don't ever do anything to make any change whatsoever.
No, he'd rather ruin Space Jam.
You're going to kneel.
That's what he'd rather do. He'd rather ruin Space Jam.
Oh, gosh.
By the way, we watched about 30 minutes of it and shut it off. It was
Why?
miserable.
Why the
Is it on
original
Disney
Space
Plus?
Jam?
Huh?
Is it on Disney Plus?
No, it's on HBO Max. So the kids were really excited because my kids really like the old Space Jam.
It was looking bad early.
And we watched it for about 30 minutes, and he said something like, "What the HELL hockey sticks?" And my little girl decided she was like, "Well, what's that mean?" I was like, "Okay, we're turning this off." Like it was utter garbage.
Gosh.
It was utter garbage.
Yeah.
My kids liked the first one.
The first one was great
The first one's awesome.
because Michael Jordan is the greatest.
One of my favorite. I probably in the top 20 movies. Seriously, I love that movie.
well, LeBron
Dude,
James can't hold a candlestick to Michael Jordan.
I love
Sorry.
Looney Tunes growing up, and by the way, if you watch Looney Tunes, I can get it on one of my streaming channels, and I just sit there and watch it, and then you're just like, holy cow, they would not allow any of that stuff today.
No, they would not.
No, they would not. But I don't know what kneeling does. It's just the dumbest thing. We're going to disrespect the national anthem so that people will become aware of stuff, and all you do is make people men.
You see the UFC fighter that called Colin Kaepernick out?
Yeah, and Kaepernick's not going to do anything because he'll get pummeled.
That guy will whip his skirt
Yeah.
in.
So he's not going to say anything to him. But
The UFC fighters, for the most part, are very conservative.
yeah, they are.
The whole organization.
Colby Covington and all those
Yeah,
guys.
the whole organization is very conservative.
Yeah.
But that's because there was a bunch of real men there. So
Well, Dana White, I don't think he allows a lot of liberals. Dana White's very conservative.
yes, he is.
And he's a big Trump guy. So they kind of know that's what they want to stay on the good side of the boss. Is kind of what they have to do. But I don't get it. I have no comprehension of it. Not, I mean, if you want to do something differently than that. I don't get it. It's like I want to raise awareness about childhood illiteracy, so I'm going to go into a library and defecate on a table. I mean, it's like, what is? Okay, what are you doing?
What about
raising awareness?
What about Black Rifle Coffee Company too?
Oh gosh,
They came out and just crapped all over their entire customer base.
I'm going to get on to that. I'm going to talk about that. That's coming up later on in the show.
Oh, good, because I really want to crap.
So we're going to talk
them.
about Black Rifle Coffee Company, basically just eat to all of the people who like
to their
them.
customers. Probably
Their
70%
customers.
of their customers, they just
They're
crapped
basically
on.
telling you just take the old heave ho. But one
Yeah.
of the big things that we wanted to talk about, we're going to do our religious portion for all the blue hairs out there who's like, where's the Bible? So we got to throw this in so we can keep the gospel name.
That's true.
There is a big controversy that's taking place within the Southern Baptist Convention. And we talk about that a lot here, even though we attend non-denominational church, like we've always said. I went to a Southern Baptist, graduated from Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. JR was in Southern Baptist churches. Most of the guys in here went to Baptist churches. We're very familiar with it, and we kind of, I had some good memories, and it's still kind of a near and dear to my heart. And so this new guy that they have as president, Ed Litton, he is in a controversy, I guess, for a nice way of saying it, to where they have found that a lot of the sermons that he has done, he has plagiarized them.
They're the ones we can get to anyway.
The ones we can get to, they erased like 140 of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's almost like a Clinton email.
I know.
Scandal
the
going on there, isn't it?
Spokeslady from his church is like, we had to get rid of those because people were trying to use his sermons to bring our pastor ill harm or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it'll only be like the
Someone's
Clintons
trying to use his sermons to bring
Yeah.
ill will. That's pretty funny.
It'll be like the Clintons if the church secretary gets suicided or something like that. Then we know the Clintons are involved. But we wanted to show you a short video here, and then we're just going to talk about this a little bit. It's a 7-minute long video, but I don't think we'll get all the way through it. But understand, this is the new president of the Southern Baptist Convention, the largest Protestant denomination in America. And I don't know. Are we ready to throw that up? Can you do that? So here it is right here, and we'll just kind of let it speak for itself. So bear with us but we're going to kind of present the case here, and then we'll see what's going on. Go ahead, start, bud. Oh, we're trying to figure. Hold on.
This is a reaction video on my part,
Oh, okay.
so I've never seen it.
The book of Ephesians, and we've come to maybe the classic text, the longest, this
is from
most famous
1991.
text in
This
the
is Tim
entire
Keller.
Bible on the subject of marriage.
To Ephesians chapter 5, the greatest passage in all of Scripture on the issue and the subject of marriage.
Could be coincidence so far.
Okay.
So far, we've only looked at the first two. And tonight I want to get to the third. And the first two are the power of marriage and the definition of marriage.
We're going to recap the last two messages. So the power of marriage, the definition of marriage, and the priority of marriage.
The essence of marriage is a covenant, a legal commitment.
The essence of marriage, we said last week, is a legal commitment, a binding
Good gosh.
covenant
Word for word.
with one another.
What makes a marriage a marriage?
What makes a marriage a marriage?
A priest can marry, a minister can marry, a justice of the peace. Marriage is marriage. It doesn't matter whether it's a captain on a ship.
Captain on the ship.
It doesn't matter whether it's a justice of the peace.
Listen.
Marriage is marriage.
Some people say, well, I mean, I got married by a priest. Do I get married by a pastor, a justice of the peace, a judge, or a sea captain? I mean, does it matter? when I
Okay.
get married?
We've moved beyond.
Okay, it's no longer coincidence. Sorry.
Performs the
I
ceremony.
had your back, buddy.
An alien
Marriage
from
pops up.
Uranus.
Originally, it was given to Adam and Eve. It wasn't given to only Christians. It was given to human beings as human beings.
God created marriage and gave it to mankind. The first man, the first woman were the only man and the only woman. And God said, here, I give you marriage. So marriage is for all groups, all races, all nationalities, all nations, and frankly, all religions.
What is it makes you married? What makes you married is
think I
this,
agree
a
with
permanent and exclusive public legal commitment to share your lives together, all aspects of it. It's got to be permanent, it's got to be exclusive.
Really, what is marriage? It is a permanent, exclusive, legal relationship.
So some people say it's time to have renewable contract marriages. You get married for 3 years and you have an option for 3 more. You've heard that. Now that might be interesting, but that's not a marriage.
Actually happening with the Y generation, and it's quite frightening, is that we're now hearing suggested that what marriage needs to be now defined as is maybe a 3-year contract with a 3-year option. In other
Well,
words,
I'll tell you what's scary.
a 3-year
Ed.
contract with a 3-year option for good behavior. That's not biblical marriage.
What absorbs it? What absorbs it is this servant heart. And let me give you 3 constituent parts to it. The ability to hear criticism without being crushed.
There are 3 things that reveal whether or not we have a servant's heart. And these are 3 important statements. And the first one is the ability to hear criticism and correction without being crushed. We know that we have a servant heart.
Wow.
Secondly,
Compliance.
the ability to give criticism without crushing.
The second indicator is the ability to give criticism and correction without crushing.
Thirdly, the ability to forgive people without residual anger.
And the third feature that reveals whether or not we have a servant heart is the ability to forgive without lingering anger.
Well, it's a good
That's
thing
what
he
I
didn't
mean by
fart in the
servant heart.
sermon.
The ability
Because they'd be like,
to take
excuse
your
me.
mind off yourself.
I'm sorry.
A servant heart is the ability to take your mind off of yourself and to care about the other person.
Every human being, Romans 1 says, has got something, some form of religion, something they worship, something they say, if I get that, then I'll be all right.
The problem is every human being at their core is religious. They're religious. Romans chapter 1 tells us that.
All right,
Now,
stop.
somebody's out there saying, sure.
So, at first I thought coincidence. And then about 3 slides in, plagiarism.
Yeah.
So, here's a question. Does he claim it as his own?
He never
He
gave
doesn't specify.
Tim Keller any credit whatsoever for the sermon. They did a whole entire. This is the first part of an entire marriage series that they did.
They copied
They
directly
copied everything.
from this dude. Wow.
Even his wife gets up there and reads something that somebody else did. Now we're going to share a little inside baseball with you because we got 2 pastors up here and a nobody, but
True.
And the sound guy.
the very valuable sound guy. And
Somebody's got to do it.
I know, man. When I do a sermon, everybody knows something. When you share something, most of the time people share stuff that they've heard from somebody else.
When it comes to illustrations, definitely.
Yeah, illustrations, things like that, or some kind of thought that you heard. You heard it in a sermon many, many years ago. You don't know exactly where you heard it, but you're like, "Oh, that was pretty good." And as you're writing your sermon and stuff, that comes to your mind, and you kind of jot it down, but you don't know exactly where you got it from, but you just know it. You've internalized it. So it's kind of like Mike here. He's a mechanic. He trains people. And if he's he's showing this guy how to put a hose on. He doesn't say to the guy he's teaching, "Oh, by the way, I just want to give credit where credit is due. I learned this from, holding my groin," or some guy like that. Holding my groin. I saw that, by the way, in the Friends episode. All right.
Cool
so,
name. Okay.
Joey needed a new name, so they said, "What's your new name?" You remember that?
I don't remember this episode.
It was the episode where he called himself Joseph Stalin.
Oh,
he's already challenged, going,
yes.
Joseph Stalin used that. He's like, "Oh, that's a great name to use." And he comes in, somebody's already used that. So he goes for his next interview, and they say, "What's your name?" He's like, "Hold my groin."
Yeah, I remember that now.
Oh, my.
All right, so I had to share that because none of you guys, I'm not
fun.
culturally hip
Now you know.
dude here. So he doesn't have to give credit for everything that he learned it from somebody else.
I learned what,
and you pass it on, and that's kind of what you do. But most of the time, when we do a text, we go through the text. The Holy Spirit inspires us, and we write. I would say most of what is our original thoughts. And then in my sermons, JR does the same thing because I make him. If you directly quote somebody, you give credit to that person. I'm a stickler about that. I'm even if it's just a little quote, I will say so and so one time said, I quote this because I think it's wrong to take a quote, especially I was going to say great quote, and it came out to groat. When you take I am Groot. But when you take it and you share it and you act like it's your stuff that you're doing, I think that's dishonest. I think it's cheating, and I think it's lying.
Yeah, and it's really super easy. One of the phrases I use all the time is, "I like how this person said it," and I say their name.
Yeah,
or,
right.
"I like how Francis Chan said this. He said blah 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 blah," and it's not like I stole it from him. And if you're paying attention, you know I gave credit. You know I didn't say it.
Right.
And it's just like a couple weeks ago, I used an illustration that you sent my way.
Yeah.
And I tore it down, broke it up, made it completely different. I didn't read word for word what you gave me.
Right.
It's totally different.
So you can do things. I mean, that's creative license. You can kind of do that stuff when you're doing a sermon. But you have to understand, Ed Litton has 8 people on his staff that helps him write sermons.
And he would blame this on the 8 people.
Yes.
That they did this. They put this in front of us.
But what's ironic is that he had his wife up there. And he wanted his wife up there so that he could have a feminine perspective on marriage. And all she did was read Timothy Keller's quotes. It wasn't a feminine perspective. It was actually a male perspective. And people might say, well, what's the big deal about this? It's an integrity issue.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And this was not the first one, folks. If you can look it up, Ed Litton and J.D. Greer, who is the past president of Southern Baptist Convention, he does a sermon. Ed Litton does a sermon that is word for word what J.D. Greer did. But J.D. Greer says, well, I told him he could use it. But he never gave credit to J.D. Greer when he did the sermon. Mm-hmm. And in fact, they have removed over 100 videos from their pages.
Oh, their server probably crashed.
This was one of the videos removed. Somebody had a
really?
copy of it. Yeah.
Ooh, I bet that burns.
He's standing up there. He's supposed to be a man preaching under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. But I don't know how you can do that anyway if you got 8 men or I guess
how are you supposed to preach what the Holy Spirit gives you if
you've got 8
guys
men
telling you what to say?
You've got 8 men who wrote a sermon for you, and all you're doing is reading what they wrote.
He's nothing more than a late night talk show host.
He's not,
because he's just reading off the cue cards.
Well, it's not like we're looking at a bivocational pastor that works all day somewhere else and does his sermon prep at night or on the weekend.
Job.
This is his
job. He's a mega church pastor. This is his job. And mega church pastors don't go visit everybody.
No.
They don't do the little
they have
tedious
people
work.
for that.
They have people who do that.
Yeah. And apparently they have people that write their sermons. So what does he do?
He writes books and makes public appearances. That's what he does.
I guess. I don't know.
But this is...
I don't have time for that stuff. I don't know.
And instead of having a contrite heart and saying, I screwed up, he has dug in and he's now on the offensive, and putting out quotes about, biblical passages. If this is not of God, then these men will fail. And it's just like, dude, they got rid of Mark Driscoll, who is not a great guy anyway. He's another pastor, but they got rid of him for a lot less than this. This is bad. I mean, it really is bad. But there are websites, there are books. I have on my computer right now in the office, I have 1,000 sermons from Greg Laurie, word for word. And if I wanted to go in there and if I wanted to do that, I could just pick one down and read it as my own and do it. Your pastor at some time in his life, and honestly, I'm not saying this to make myself look good or JR look good. I mean, I haven't done it. But it's there if your pastor wants to do it. Now, kind of like what Mike was saying, if you have a pastor who works 60 hours a week for basically $10 an hour, and you want him to go to every ball game, every birthday, every event, every hospital visit, to go by the senior citizens and pat them on the head and tell them that you're still there, if you want him to do all that and then have the perfect family, I don't blame him for getting it off the internet.
He's working 14 to 16 hours a day.
Yeah. When you're working him because you're big, fat, stupid deacons sitting on their butt not doing anything. Oh, boy, I felt good.
I knew it. Yeah. Felt good.
Then don't blame him.
Yeah.
It's still an integrity issue. It's still wrong, but it's almost like if a guy's family is starving and he steals some bread from somewhere, it's wrong, but you kind of understand.
Yeah.
It's still wrong that he's getting the sermon, but I kind of understand it because you're working him to death. Mm-hmm. And he's doing everything within the church because you guys are too lazy to do anything. And so I can understand. It's just simple to go up there and just print off a sermon and just read it.
The bad thing is, though, that guy's going to have too much integrity to do that.
He is.
That guy's not going to do it because he's got too much integrity to cheat, whereas somebody like whatever that guy's name was, apparently not so much.
The deacon's job originally was to make the pastor's job. It wasn't necessarily a pastor back then, but to make the disciples' job easier. And that's what they were supposed to be doing. And you just work these guys to death for no money, and then you want to get upset when they do this. But this guy has no excuse. He's got 8 people who write his sermon.
Yeah. There's no need for plagiarism.
He can work he can work 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
Because he's got 8 people working on stuff, and all he does is get up there and read the sermon.
Yeah.
I don't get it. When I do a sermon, it has to be my sermon, or there's nothing. I don't feel anything when I'm doing it.
I'll just throw this out. Maybe he's not inspired by God.
Well, obviously his sermons are not inspired by God.
No, they're not.
No,
They're inspired by others.
They're inspired by other people.
Maybe they were inspired by God the first time, though. See?
Yeah, Timothy Keller always does good stuff, and J.D. Greear was a pretty good sermon that he did on Romans, except for that one part where the Bible whispers about sexual sin. It's like, no, it doesn't, you idiot.
Lined it up with some other terrible sins.
Yeah, but I think it's bad. I just do. I've sat down, and I usually try to be rational about thinking about things and seeing things from all different perspectives, and and cutting people some slack. I can't in this regard. How can you lead a bunch of other people when I consider you not to be a leader yourself? Mm-hmm. Because a leader doesn't do this crap. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Are you shocked?
Honestly, I'm not. It doesn't surprise me.
I think we're going to see more and more video proof of this.
It discourages me a little bit.
But as a layman, though, what do you think about it? What do you if JR gets up here and reads somebody else's sermon, does that bother you at all?
It does. I mean, that's... Like I said, it's an integrity thing.
Yeah. I
mean, you go to school and you write a paper. You're not allowed to plagiarize that.
That's a good point. Great point.
So you'll fail out of that. You'll fail that essay or whatever if you plagiarize. So what makes it any different?
That's a great point.
I mean, if it's your job to get up and do a sermon, then do it.
I like it.
Don't cheat.
Yep,
Just
that's good.
do it. I mean, and besides, and I'm not saying that guy's sermon was wrong or whatever, but I mean, you've got your own people. You're supposed to be the shepherd of the flock. Mm-hmm. You know what your people need to hear. You can't. How can you plagiarize off somebody else? God's going to give you a message for your people.
Right.
So maybe his sermon on marriage was a good sermon, but maybe it's not what those people needed to hear, and maybe God had something else for them to hear, but they didn't get it because he's too busy copying on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to talk. He's on a roll.
Yeah, we just sit back.
Maybe I should be a pastor.
There you go.
There you go.
No.
Now
Saw it
we're
here. It's
pastors.
recorded, folks.
I'm good.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't have any respect for this dude, none at all. And like I said, he could apologize for it, and that's fine. But and make it right.
Forgiven, but
He's not. He's making excuses for it, and he's got 50% of social media on his side with it. He's overworked. He doesn't have time for this stuff.
How is he
I
overworked
don't
if he
get
has
it.
8 people writing
How is he more
sermons?
overworked
Yeah.
than a pastor of a small church somewhere? How is he more overworked than that dude? Who's getting
I'd like to see a schedule.
who's basically getting the equivalency of $10 an hour, basically.
Yeah.
While this dude, I know, is making 6 figures easy.
Oh yeah, every bit of it.
And yeah, well, we gave him we have a parsonage. Yeah,
Yeah,
a parsonage that he doesn't own.
Yeah, that
you're
doesn't-
renting it to him so that
that doesn't feed your kids.
yeah. You want to impress me? Give him the house.
There you go.
Make a commitment to him. Maybe he'll make a commitment to you. You never know. Moving right along, we have a. What do you keep looking at?
I'm waiting for you to get to this topic.
He's ready. He's like he's.
Oh,
on
what
it.
are you getting to? What is that?
This is shutdowns.
Oh, well, that's down the road.
Down.
It's right here.
It's getting close.
Okay.
Okay.
Black Rifle Coffee Company is.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Suck it, Black Rifle Coffee
I know.
Company.
So what they have done is their CEO just released some stuff, and this is a company that founded by veterans, kind of built on the backs of conservative people.
Got on Fox News and was telling everybody about how conservative they are.
Oh yeah. Then they did an interview with the New York Times or the Washington Post, one of those liberal rags out there, and when they got on there, then all of a sudden, you know how it is, they want to be accepted by everybody. They didn't want to offend anyone, so they were just like, you know what? The first thing they said was they didn't want to be associated at all with Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
If you don't know who this guy is, this is a dude that was up in Wisconsin, Kenosha, when they had all the violent protests taking place. He was a kid going around trying to help out stuff, guarding things, doing stuff like that. Should he have been there? I don't know. That's a different question. But he was chased down. They tried to actually kill him. And he turns around with the AR and he smokes 2 of these fools.
With the precision.
It
and
was
confidence
impressive.
that I wish I could.
It wasn't
have
even
in
his
that
gun. It was
situation.
impressive that he
Yeah.
did it and wounded a third one who the guy happened to be a pedophile. Which that's not a bad thing. So
Nope.
So they do
Him getting shot's not a bad thing. The pedophile is a bad thing.
Yes.
oh yeah,
Pedophile
oh my
is a
gosh,
bad
that's
thing.
He's a pedophile.
let me
That's not a bad
clarify
thing.
here.
That's gonna get somebody's gonna take that clip out and
Yeah,
play
yeah.
that over. and over.
Oh, who knows? I may rise in the Democratic circles.
Oh, that's true.
So they had a picture of him. Kyle had a picture with Black Rifle Coffee Company on it, and they were like, "We don't want to be associated with this. We don't want to be associated with this guy." And it's like, here's a dude. You talk about Second Amendment. Here's a dude exercising the Second Amendment right here. His right to defend himself, carry arms, and he did it. You know, and they were like, we don't. Here's what we don't want to profit from tragedy. Even though we're going to stick wounded veterans on our webpage and say, buy our coffee so this guy can eat. How's that not profiting off tragedy? But that's beside the point, idiots. So, and then they get on there and they go one step forward, further and say, we don't want to have anything to do with these proud boyish type people.
Who, like I said, 70% of their probably prospective market is that type of
Okay,
person.
so, but I didn't know. Do you know who the Proud Boys are?
Well, I know they're racist. They have to be.
How?
Trump supporters are Proud Boys.
Well, so I saw something
Right.
about Proud Boys. Isn't the leader? Isn't he a black man?
He's a
In the
black
leader?
Cuban.
Yeah. So, but he's racist. He has to be.
It's
Proud Boys.
It's
They're
hard to
all
be a
racist.
white supremacist organization when you have a minority as your leader. It's like Dave Chappelle and the Black Klansman. It's kind of a bad, it kind of goes against the narrative there.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I thought, Proud Boyish, what does that mean? I don't know. I didn't know anything about the Proud Boys, so I did some research on them.
Enlighten us.
Well, I'm going to share that. But you have never heard of them.
I mean, I've heard of them.
You've heard of them.
I've
Have you heard of them?
The only thing I heard about Proud Boys is when Trump was badgered into calming down the Proud Boys.
Yes.
Right. Like,
Weren't they at the insurrection?
he's like, stand down, but stand ready, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, and there's like, oh, that's not going against them, or
Yeah.
that's just acknowledging that it exists, or something like that. It was terrible.
Okay. Have you heard of Antifa?
Heard of it?
All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you,
Bunch of little
would you describe
snowflakes.
them as a terrorist organization?
Antifa? Yes.
Seemed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Why?
a terrorist organization that doesn't have a...
Well, I mean, they light our cities on fire.
Yeah. Okay, so the Southern Poverty Law Center is this group of people who at one time had a real worthy goal in life, I guess. They sat around in the 70s, they would file legislation against Ku Klux Klan, and they were for civil rights and really good. Now they've become kind of a caricature of themselves, that if you disagree with some certain views, now they label you as the domestic terrorist. And you know how a lot of people are like, Snopes is the end all.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Right. So if Snopes says something and they say, well, that's false, then everybody's like, well, that's false because that's what Snopes says. If the Southern Poverty Law Center says you're a domestic terrorist, then that's what the White House uses. So I looked it up and I said, okay, I looked on the Southern Poverty Law Center. I said, well, I read the whole thing about the Proud Boys. What did they do? Their act of domestic terrorism was the words that they said.
What did they say?
They made some racist comments at one time.
no.
And
How-
misogynist comments.
How dare they?
Yeah, and they were actually they're anti-Islam.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if you're anti-Islam, SPLC automatically you're a hate group.
Yeah, crap.
So I guess the Gospel Broalition are domestic terrorists.
Right.
SPLC, you can suck it.
Because
So that's what they did. Now here's the headline from the SPLC concerning Antifa. When Trump was going to label them domestic terrorists, designating Antifa as domestic terrorist organization is dangerous and threatens civil liberties.
But they threaten civil liberties by
Yeah.
setting buildings on
They
fire.
beat the crap out of old people.
Yeah, because they can't beat the crap out of anybody else. So
They set fires, things like that. Canada listed the Proud Boys as a terrorist organization because of their involvement in January the 6th.
okay,
Which, by the way, if you're a member of a cigar club and you were there in January the 6th, and the FBI knows, now your cigar club is a terrorist organization.
it's true.
Because even if you had a loose affiliation with this stuff, we're just going to do that.
If you were a bystander watching it happen,
Right.
you're accused.
That means the FBI is a terrorist organization because they were there at January the 6th.
They were, and they could have stopped it, but they didn't.
Throwing smoke bombs.
Yeah, that's true. But we talked about the Michigan thing, the plot to kidnap the governor. Mm-hmm. You had 6 people actually going to do it, 12 FBI informants, 18 people involved, 6 people doing it, 12 doing it. What they have found out this week that just came out was that the FBI was in it from the beginning, everything. They're the ones who initiated
They
the
were
plan.
probably pushing it.
These guys are sitting around with their fingers up their butt, not doing nothing. And the FBI goes, hey, wouldn't it be cool to go kidnap the governor? Here's money to go do it. Here's guns to go do it. Here's bombs to go do it. And you're going to find out. They're going to drop the charges against these 6 guys because they don't want it to go to court because they're going to find out
That the FBI.
the FBI did it. And people who talk about it, the FBI have been doing this forever. They come into a situation, they ag people on to get them to do something, and then they arrest them for it. That's what happened in January the 6th. FBI is embedded with these groups. They know what's going to happen. They have Antifa there. Antifa is there because John Sullivan, who is the leader of Antifa, has a video of him being in the Capitol. We know Antifa was there. It's all set up. The FBI did it, but we don't want to classify Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. Oh, it makes me mad. Can you tell? Mm-hmm. You guys are just sitting there. You can tell when I get on a road because you guys are just like,
We just let you go.
I know.
Get it?
It makes me crazy. But Proud Boys have been deplatformed from every platform out there. You can't buy their stuff on Amazon, but you can buy an Antifa flag and shirt. But nobody knows what the Proud Boys did. Nobody can write down. Nobody here. Okay, the leader, the Torres, I think his name is.
Who named them?
Proud Boys. Gavin McInnes, back in 2016, he wanted to create, from his words, a bunch of frat boys who like to drink beer, have sex, and beat up Antifa. So
sounds like a great group.
Yeah, it just he said they call themselves a fraternal organization like the Elks Lodge. So they get together, they do all this stupid stuff. It's a bunch of frat boys, and what happened was they rose kind of like, you would go to the MAGA conferences, or whatever they call it, the rallies, and he got tired of seeing Antifa just willy-nilly just beating on people, and so he created this group.
They're going to kick some butt.
Yeah, Antifa is petrified of Proud Boys.
Oh, I bet they are, because it's actual men that are standing up to them, and they don't know how to take that.
Yeah. And so one of the rules for being a Proud Boy is you can't watch porn, you can't masturbate. So you got a bunch of guys who are really riled up.
Take their frustration out on
they're
them.
just ready to take out their aggression on somebody. Single guys, So what they would do is when Antifa would show up somewhere, the Proud Boys would show up.
Nice.
And because the Proud Boys beat up Antifa, and there's one video out there of them getting into it, and this Proud Boy cold cocks this Antifa dude, and it's like one of those cartoons where you see somebody get hit, he goes totally stiff.
Is that the dude trying to hit him with a crowbar?
Yeah, he just cocks him.
The Antifa guy goes to hit him with a crowbar. He grabs the crowbar and just boom,
knocks the dude flat out.
Yeah,
and
that's not a terrorist organization. That's a national treasure.
It is. I'll tell you what. So I looked at the Wall Street Journal, and it was supposed to be a conservative thing. They were doing the thing on the Proud Boys too.
Wall Street's supposed to be conservative?
Wall Street Journal was.
No.
Okay, well, they used to be.
They're not today.
At pro-Trump rallies in Washington, D.C. after the election, Mr. Tarrio led his group in chants of F Antifa. I like him already.
Yep, he's a man. Referring
to the loose network of far-left activists who have, at times, engaged in violence against those they view as fascist or racist.
At times. So
at
anywhere
times.
Between 7 o'clock in the morning, well,
right.
They're probably more like 11 o'clock to any time at night, every day. At times.
So all these communities that had Antifa just roll up, start beating up people randomly. Yeah. They're not organized. Yeah, that's right. That's why their buses don't come into town. And when they get into town, they have these pallets full of bricks already waiting for them. Yeah, they're loosely organized. Mm-hmm. This is your media. But reason I'm not defending the Proud Boys. It's just how they can take a group of people and they can demonize a group of people, and you don't even know what they've done.
Yep. You
can't name a single. And that's what they're doing with the critical race theory, this white supremacy crap, all this stuff. Yeah. Proud Boys were at Charlottesville for that Unite the Right rally, but so was Antifa. Mm-hmm. And that's, if Antifa doesn't show up, Proud Boys aren't there.
Yeah.
And so they're there, and that's Charlottesville is where you got the very fine people hoax that they had tried to attribute to Trump on numerous occasions, been debunked 1,000 times, but you're dealing with idiot liberals here. No offense. And so they don't get stuff, they don't understand stuff. But here's what they believe. Here's your domestic terrorist organization, right? Here's their beliefs.
Let's hear it.
Minimal government.
Okay.
I think we're going to find out. We're Proud Boys.
This is Proud Boy definition?
Proud Boys belief, right?
Okay.
I just know when I say Proud Boys, it's just like, know somebody somewhere, like in an FBI control room going, wait a minute, we got something coming in. Boss, you need to hear this.
You need to hear this.
What you got there, Jimmy? Somebody's talking about the Proud Boys. All right, let's send in the SWAT team and go kill them. Minimal government, maximum freedom.
I see no problems yet. Keep going.
Anti-political correctness.
Okay.
Anti-drug war. Which, by the way, the war on drugs has done nothing.
There is no war on drugs.
We
just let them freely.
Closed borders. Oh my gosh. Anti-racial guilt.
So they're against the whole whatever that's
critical race theory.
Yeah. Interesting.
Anti-racism. That's one. They're anti-racist. All right?
Okay.
Pro-free speech, pro-gun rights, glorifying the entrepreneur,
Okay. Capitalism.
venerating the housewife, in other words, respect for the housewife,
Yeah.
and admitting that America is the greatest country in the world.
They sound
So,
terrible.
out of all of those things,
And right now, Sweet Sweet Tony is leaving to go join the local Proud Boys.
I'm going with him. Let's go. Like,
Man,
hey,
but you can understand how liberals would look at this and go,
oh, that's 100%
that's
terrorist if the liberals is
100%
that.
domestic terrorist
Yeah,
organization.
we got to get rid of them because they're against what we
Now, I
believe.
will say that their leader got arrested. Well, he just got, if you look it up, it's all over the news. He just got something to where he went in and I got hooked on some. He got arrested because he went to a black church. I hate to say this. Stole a Black Lives Matter banner. Took it to an intersection and set it on fire.
I don't know if I can be a Proud Boy now.
I don't know if I can either.
That's almost crossing the line.
Now, if he went and just beat the crap out of some random person, yeah. But that's what Antifa does. It's just like Antifa beats people up, burns down businesses, loots those businesses,
Burns flags.
burns flags. Nothing happens to them.
And we burn an Antifa sign.
This guy burns a worthless Black Lives Matter banner,
And he
and he gets 8 months in jail.
8 months.
I think it's 8 months.
Good grief! I know people that have murdered Nicholas and that.
It's just we live in two
That's
Americas,
insane.
and like I said, we're not apologists for the Proud Boys, but I was just kind of shocked because this is a domestic terrorist organization. Surely they've stormed a military facility or they've blown something up or no,
They just love America.
they're
They're terrorists.
They just a bunch of rowdy frat boys who get into trouble. And do they have extreme members? Yes, but every group has extreme members.
Yeah.
I mean, we have nuns in this community who have extreme views. I mean, everybody has the people in that group.
Yeah.
And so it's what the government can do to you. Which, speaking of which, the next thing that's going to happen is climate lockdowns. You're the one that brought this up to me.
It's true. You
brought this up?
You did the research, didn't you?
I hadn't heard about it, but I've researched it since then.
All right, give me your research. Go.
What I read was that this, whether it's being talked about or planned for every couple of years, enacting a climate shutdown. But that they wouldn't do it by restriction. What's the word they used? They would do it with regulation.
Mm-hmm.
That they would make it harder, more expensive, or less worth your while, or less economic for you to drive your car.
How would they do that?
Well, they could raise any number of taxes.
Fuel.
Oh, my gosh.
Fuel will be number one. And if you drive an electric car, guess what? They're going to tax the crap out of that. They're already talking
It'll
about
get you
that.
license time instead, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, the electric cars right now, are especially in California,
They were saying that the
EPA
EPA would regulate, not have to enforce, not restrict this. They would regulate it in some way. EPA.
I got this quote about it. It's funny because once you see who wrote it. As COVID-19 spread earlier this year, governments introduced lockdowns in order to prevent a public health emergency from spinning out of control. In the near future, the world may need to resort to lockdowns again, this time to tackle a climate emergency. This was written by Mariana Mazzucato, a professor in the economics of innovation and public value, basically basket weaving,
Yeah, worthless diploma.
at University College London, and the author of Mission Economy, a Moonshot Guide to Changing Capitalism.
Striking
She's a socialist.
socialist.
Yeah. Folks, the same people who are telling you that a man can get pregnant are the same people who are doing this crap.
Yeah.
I mean, how are they going to... We're going to put a lockdown on misinformation on the internet. A guy can get pregnant. That's misinformation.
Yeah, I looked it up when you said that. I was going to bring the photo and I forgot, but we now have pregnant man emojis.
Pregnant man emojis.
What?
Yeah.
What?
If you check your text message, you'd see this stuff.
Well, that's why I don't check it, because I don't want to see no pregnant man emojis.
Emojis. These are people who are telling you, believe the science.
Believe the science. A man can get pregnant.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how do they explain that?
I don't know.
I'd like to see the science.
You're
behind
dealing with
it.
idiots here. No offense.
I like to...
But yeah, I mean, there's a pregnant man emoji.
Shut
the camera if
he's got a mustache.
If you can see
That's-
it.
I'll have to flash it up there later.
pregnant
Dang it, I
man
gotta edit
emoji.
video now.
Wow.
Yeah.
The pregnant man.
We'll flash it
Believe
up
the
there
science, folks.
Believe-
These are the people responsible for misinformation. We have to laugh to keep from crying.
Oh, this is the most insane thing I've possibly heard all
There you go,
day.
Cameron.
And I've heard some pretty stupid stuff today already, so.
You know what's sad about that picture? If you'll post it up where people can see it. If you look at it, it actually looks like me.
He has little small boobs too.
He has little small boobs.
Are you a pregnant man?
Yeah, I think so. I look like a pregnant man.
Oh,
From
man.
that picture, I am a pregnant man.
Oh, this one's even got his hair sticking up.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
All right, I'll put it up there.
They just put a picture of a fat guy on there and said it was a pregnant man.
That's fat shaming. They can't do that.
Yeah, I don't care. Under a climate lockdown, governments would limit private vehicle use, ban consumption of red meat.
So,
What's
I already
red meat got to do with
have.
climate lockdown.
I already have 2 words for him, but keep going.
And impose extreme energy saving measures while fossil fuel companies would have to stop drilling.
I got 2 words.
We
for
started
you.
this already, right? As soon as our new leadership
Stone
took over.
Age. You're talking to. But here's the thing.
Wait, hold on. You think that's going to stop Jeffrey Bezos from launching his rocket with his buddy into space? Oh, wait a minute. No one cared.
That's my next line.
No one cared that he wasted more fuel and polluted the environment with his rocket doing absolutely nothing but having
Just
a
a
good
flyby.
time than me driving my diesel pickup truck for the entirety of its life
Yeah.
into the ground. No one cares.
That one trip will use more fuel and did more destruction to the environment than all 5 of our families will do in our entire lifetime.
Yes. But no one cares. 'Cause
Nobody
it's Jeffrey
cares.
Bezos. He is pretty awesome.
Nobody cares because he's rich and he can get away with stuff.
So, yeah, I mean, he's Amazon, so.
You know, people don't think, though. The article I was reading saying that there are certain industries that cannot shut down every couple of years when it comes to automobile
Oh, yeah.
travel. Like how your groceries getting delivered, how your products getting delivered.
Here's the
They're
thing.
going to get taxed hard.
You cannot.
And what does that
stop.
do when you go to the store?
You can't stop trucks.
No. And
The
now,
trucks.
during these COVID or these lockdowns, whatever they're calling them, after that time, after the truckers have to raise their prices.
Yep.
Yep.
What happens to your Walmart budget?
Exactly.
People don't think, man.
Folks, it's all part of a plan. None of this stuff is happenstance. It is a long, drawn-out plan. And there's people out there, if you look them up on the interweb, they have stuff, they have the timeline all down, and they've been accurate so far of what's going to happen. And they're saying, like, in October, it's going to become mandatory vaccines.
Here's my question. What are they going to do?
How are they going to make it mandatory?
Are they going to march us off to a camp? Because
Maybe.
that sounds awful familiar to something that happened a long time ago in history.
I'm in an unusual situation. I kind of wanted that for me because I'm semi-retired. So they can't threaten me with job
Right.
because I've worked for free for the past 20 years. So
True. I mean,
They
they can't
can't-
be losing much anyway.
right. So they can't. So what are they going to? I can understand what they can do to you guys.
Yeah.
What are they going to do to people like me?
Camp.
Camp.
Because I've heard them talk about it.
Re-education camp.
Sounds an awful lot like
Like
a
brainwash.
little bit of a Germany thing there.
And when that happens, I will go be with the Lord
Yep.
and take people with me.
Except they probably won't get to go.
They
with you.
won't go to heaven. They'll go to hell. You come get me or my family, you try to take us to a camp, it's over.
Yep.
It just is. And
It
that's
is.
not bravado.
No.
That's not big talk. It just, right? That's it.
I mean, that's it.
And so there you go, YouTube. There you go, Google, Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
There's your line right there, buddy.
Come and get me.
Yeah. And
Come and take it.
it's sad. But I think when they do the lockdowns, especially if they do a climate lockdown, which you can see these idiots doing that. non-essential meetings like churches, they won't allow you to have them.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Look at Canada. It's already happening.
Gosh, the People's Republic of Canada. Yeah, it's a horrible place. I keep bringing up the question. I don't get the end game. I don't understand what the purpose, the fanaticism it is about this thing. We've reached the 70% threshold, have we not?
No.
Are we close? We're close.
70% vaccinated.
We're at 67%, and as Tucker said the other night, to get 67% of Americans to do anything is a miraculous feat.
Yeah.
So we're at 67%, but that's just not enough. We got to be 100%. We got to be, every single person has got to be vaccinated. But the people who are getting just said the word, we were doing fine.
I don't edit it anymore.
But all these people, that's so funny. All those people coming up from Texas. We're gonna leave Texas in our private plane with our beer in it, and we're gonna go to Washington D.C. and basically infect everybody up there with the COVID variant.
Yeah.
Which Nancy Pelosi, give it to her. If you're gonna do something.
Now that might be inciting hate.
Okay, we'll edit it out.
I'm just gonna. It's just gonna say Nancy Pelosi, and it's just gonna fade to black for a moment, and then I'll just come back and
come back. There you go.
That's fine.
That way something was said.
Yeah. Should any company, if your workplace forces you to take the vaccine and there are complications from it, should your company be liable?
100%.
Yep. If you're taking it to remain employed by them, yeah,
they won't be.
No, they won't. Funny though, gun manufacturers are supposed to be held responsible for actions of.
Oh, now you're inserting reason here.
I know, dang it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Would your insurance company cover it?
I doubt it. I bet
insurance company. My insurance company cover an
if you take the jab for the Kamala and you get complications from it.
Yeah.
Will your insurance cover that hospitalization?
They'll
probably say no, it was voluntary.
That's exactly what they'll say.
Well, it's interesting. They would cover almost all symptoms or time off or whatever you wanted if you had COVID. But we're not hearing that speech when it comes to the vaccine.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Why is a jab that has not been approved by the FDA? Why are the people not liable that make this jab? I don't understand that. I had a great. There's a fantastic article from a webpage called State of the Nation, and an article written by Mike Adams. He wrote it a year ago. But here's the totalitarian state that we live in. The Nazi Germany, Soviet Union kind of state. Because I wanted to share this article with you two. And I thought, okay, I can't put it on Facebook because I'll get banned. I can't send it in private message.
Because it'll get read.
I can't send it in email. So out there right now on the table outside the bunker, I have a printed copy of it that you guys can read and then burn when you're done.
This message will self-destruct.
I know. But he wrote it a year ago, and he talked about every single thing that was taking place here. And his premise for the article is this is a depopulation ploy.
There's been a lot of speculation into fertility after the vaccine. Obviously, we've not been into it long enough to see any results from that. But it may not be that there's some ploy to kill people with the vaccination. But if you limit the number of births that happen over the next 20 years, you're doing the same thing.
Yep.
If we can decrease birth while the death rate stays the same, what does that do?
Yep. Folks,
that's been my idea from the beginning. They're not trying to kill people with it.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Maybe the adverse effects of not being able to have kids. I can believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think the vaccine itself. I don't think that's their game.
No.
I think there's something further ahead.
Oh yeah,
that they're pushing for. But if they can get 100% of Americans to do this, they can make them. That's just a starting point. What can they make you do after the fact?
Well, do you think if they got to the point to where like 87% of Americans had been vaccinated, do you think that 87% would turn on the 13%?
Yes.
That they would be okay with concentration camps?
I think a majority of them would, because a majority of the people I know that have got jabbed think it's stupid that we don't. Mm-hmm. And they don't care what our reason is. They don't care what.
But if they believe in something so great that it works so well, then the 13% shouldn't matter. The other 87 should be perfectly safe.
But every day you're reading in the paper about people who have had the vaccine getting the variant. 57% of new cases are the variant.
I can't remember if I talked about
So now we're hitting this new level of fear. Here it comes again.
We're pushing it harder.
I can't remember if I talked about this last week or not, but I talked to somebody, elderly person, who has COVID a couple weeks ago, and the person I was talking to and his wife and another lady, the individual is vaccinated. His wife is not, but his wife's friend is. And his wife and his wife's friend, one vaccinated, one not, went to visit a lady that was positive, and the vaccinated lady came back infected. And the other guy was asking about this because he went to get tested because he lives at home with his wife and they're elderly, and he went to get tested and he's negative, and she's like, yeah, this happens a lot more than what you think. It's a lot more than the few cases that we're seeing.
You take that and you couple that with the fact that over 10,000 people have died from this.
In fact, they've actually changed those numbers. I went to check on them this week.
They lowered them?
They did.
Surprise.
And it may not be that they lowered them, but they changed the VAERS website to where it's super complicated to get all 4 vaccines reported on the same page. Like, I used to click right through there. It doesn't work like that today.
Really?
Nope.
Well, there you go. If your government's having to manipulate information.
They have been for the past 20 years.
Yeah. And what's funny is that I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist. I don't consider myself.
We can't be conspiracy theorists anymore. Everything we thought.
Yeah, everything we thought was conspiracy is true. So.
It's true. Okay. Yeah. I'm not a hoarder. I'm not one of these build a bunker type persons. But it's scary. I was just thinking about this. To see where we've gone in 30 years, and we'll kind of end on this note of how 30 years ago, I think it was 30 years ago, I'm terrible, man. 40 years ago.
I was born.
You're an old man.
Me being in front of the television set crying, watching The Miracle on Ice. To the point right now where I don't even care if America wins any medals.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
In 40 years, man, we've gone from that. Because everybody who is now there, I'm sure there are some who love their country and are proud to be representing their country, but you get all these people like Rapahoe and all those on there. It's sad.
Yeah.
But I praise God I got to grow up in the 80s and the 70s, because as bad as it was back then, this sucks.
I just feel bad for the kids.
I do too.
I feel bad.
This world sucks, and I feel
kids,
horrible for my children.
My kids, if that ever happens, I feel bad for the generations coming, because they will not know the United States we knew.
I want grandbabies, and then sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I do.
We're getting close to the things that you'd like, the dystopian future books or movies that you read, things like Hunger Games or Divergent, where I think we're getting closer to seeing factions like that. Even the movie In Time had factions like that.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting closer to that. If we stick around much longer,
yeah,
the younger population is going to see something like that.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully the Lord will return.
Yeah. And I was always the type that was like, everybody always says that, and I'm like, no, because I like my life, and I want to live my life out, and I want to see all this stuff, but the more and more and more I read in the news, the more and more I go, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, you're like that. I want to see my kids get married. I want to have grandkids.
But I'm at the point now where I don't know if I want my kids to have to go
live
through
through
what
this
the
crap.
United States is going to be. I think I would rather just be taken out and let's go home with the Lord. And when He comes.
And if they try to take us off the camps, then we'll take care of that problem right there.
Yep, we'll meet Him again.
Just a warning. There won't be all these people you think will be on your side. They won't be.
No.
The police force,
the Bible's
military,
very clear about that too.
Yeah,
about how you
won't.
will be hated.
Yeah, you're going to be hated. And part of me not taking it is because of religious reasons. But part of me also, it's not been approved by the FDA. People are dying from it. Yeah. Even if they're not dying from it, there's complications concerning it. I mean, I have questions about it. Legitimate, honest questions.
And that's the thing. Why are they not okay with me waiting until the FDA comes out and says it's good, until a year or two down the road when we can see what the effects have been on people? Why are they not okay with it? Because, if they're vaccinated and they can't get it, they shouldn't be worried about me anyway. So why are they not okay with me being a little bit worried, wanting to stay back and say, let me see what happens first?
What happened to that?
Why do I have to be a guinea pig?
What happened to that? What happened to be able to say, you know what, let's ride this out a little bit and see what's going to happen?
My body, my choice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they don't believe that.
Oh, but you're affecting everyone else around you. You're killing people. Well, you're not when you're getting an abortion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny how that works.
The whole... If they would have just handled it entirely differently, if they could walk up to one person and two people and say, you want it? You don't want it? Fine. I don't want it. It's my risk. Yeah. I'm not endangering anybody. If your vaccine works, I'm not endangering you. I'm just me.
Yeah.
My body.
Because they're like, well, you can carry it. And I'm like, but if you're vaccinated, you can't
because
catch
that
it.
person has a choice to make up their own choice.
Exactly. That's fine.
But I don't understand, number one, why Big Pharma is all of a sudden concerned about my health and well-being. Yeah. While Bill Gates is concerned about, because he don't give a flying flip about me.
No, he does not.
And if I died tomorrow, it wouldn't bother him. So, but they're also concerned about us. And then also, why don't we just, if we're going to do it, let's just go all out and do it. Fast food restaurants have to go.
Yeah, if we're really concerned about people's lives, what about heart disease?
And affecting other people, yeah. I mean, maybe it doesn't affect other people, but it does when these people die because of heart disease, stuff like that. You got to get rid of cigarettes. Yeah. Got to get rid of drinking because you can't have drunk drivers. And you got to get rid of cars so we don't have drunk driving accidents. Yeah. I mean, seriously, if we're all nuts about saving lives, don't let anybody fly on an airplane because there's a chance it could go down. Yeah. Can't go on a cruise ship. There's a chance it could sink. There's these chances that you take. Life is a chance.
Yes.
Every day that you wake up to do something, you get in the car, you go down the road and pray to God that you're not going to pass some stupid, retarded liberal
driving on
who's
the
driving in
the
the wrong lane backwards because they're too stupid to do anything else. Yeah. So you take a risk every single day when you do that.
Absolutely.
If you want to get in your car and you don't want to put your seatbelt on, take that risk. I don't care. Yeah. If you want to, it's like when people do base jumping and they die. I don't feel no compassion for them. No, that's because you did something stupid, you got killed.
You jumped out of an airplane, your parachute didn't deploy. You jumped out of an airplane.
You jumped out of an airplane.
You didn't
have to.
Stupid.
That's fine, but I respect their right to be able to do that.
Yeah, if you want to jump out of an airplane, go for it.
Go for it, man. Do it. I don't care. And so, it's a freedom issue. Yeah. Just the fact that you tell me I have to do something pisses me off. Yep. And when I can't see the big picture, it frustrates me. When I don't understand what's the motives and what's the end game here. And that's what, you want me to take the vaccine because you're concerned about me. No, you're not. You're a liar. Mm-hmm. We want you to take the vaccine because we're concerned about people around you. No, you're not. You're a liar.
Give us the truth. Why are you so
Give
concerned?
us the truth.
Tell us why you're so concerned that
Tell me the truth.
Get it.
Right? I would respect you more if you came out and said, we want you to take a vaccine because later on we're going to release a variant that's going to interact with the vaccine and kill everybody. I would respect that more than lying to me. Yeah. Don't be a liar. Yeah. And so we'll end on that note, I guess.
You guess?
We always continue talking anyway when we're done. But that's why, folks, I'm going to tell you right now, live your life. Seriously, go out and live your life.
I mean, think about it. During this whole lockdown crap last time, I don't know about y'all. I didn't change my life.
I didn't change my life at all.
I still had to get up and do everything I had to do every day. I still went to the stores I wanted to go to. Yeah. I didn't listen to any of their bull crap. I just did what I wanted, and I'm still alive. Yep. I'm still here. I never did get sick.
I mean, you
Matter
get in
of
trouble
fact-
when you say this stuff, but I don't know it in single person. I have contact with thousands, hundreds of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, hundreds and thousands of people.
Hundreds and thousands, yeah.
I don't know of anybody personally who's gotten it, especially somebody who's died from it.
Gotten it. I told you I've had it.
Yeah, but I've been around you forever,
Yeah.
We
and
didn't
you lived,
die.
And you lived.
and we lived.
Did-
And
but
I
did
think I
you
had
die?
it when it first
I
started.
was spreading all my antibodies.
And we
into
just
my
thought it was
cough.
the flu. Remember the flu?
Yeah, that's the thing in the past.
Oh gosh,
It's
we
because
got
we
rid of-
were-
That's what I have.
that's the
now.
great thing about COVID. Got rid of the flu.
It's because we wear our mask and we social distance. But COVID is getting really bad again because we don't wear our mask and don't social distance.
Yeah.
That's why. It's perfectly...
This is always a creepy word, right? But America's been groomed.
Oh, gosh, yeah, that is a creepy
Right.
word.
It started with the masks. You know, it started with you don't need them, now you do need them. And you know, if you just think about it, when it first all started, we had concerned people, and I was concerned at the beginning. It's like, we're seeing all these people wear masks. Do we need to wear masks? And what did our medical professionals say? No, you don't need to wear masks. You need to save those masks for people who need them.
Yeah.
And then it was like 2 weeks later, it's like, no, now you need to wear masks. But you can't wear those cloth ones because they're no good.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks after that, it's like, now you
Anything.
can wear whatever you want
Yeah,
on your face.
just put something
for the
on
love
your
of God,
face.
cover your face up, right? Wear 2 of them, wear 3 of them. And it's inconsistency and changing, right?
Yeah. I do want to...
I think they've been throwing stuff like darts at a wall and then just seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
How much can we get them to bend?
How much can we get away with?
Because now all we're doing is talking about. If you look at the COVID graph around here, it was way high last year, and then went way high the year before, the next year a little bit, and then here at the end, it's gone like this, like literally that far on that scale, right?
Yeah.
Like this, it's like, oh, it's getting bad again. And now I'm at Walmart, and 10% of the people in Walmart are wearing masks without being told to.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's one
They've been
good
groomed.
thing.
It worked.
That's one good thing I had to say. Our county, and at a local event at the county, there was one mask
I saw one
out of thousands
Yeah.
of people.
It's a super spreader event.
It must have been, but you know what? I don't think anybody's died yet. But anyway, and it was good because the event we went to, the main dude that was speaking actually mentioned something about it was nice being in a place with no mask
Yeah.
and people just being people again.
No,
And people
he was
not-
great, actually. He talked about why we would not be doing any kneeling during the national anthem. They had the Christian flag out there with the
He
American
did a
flag.
really
It
good
was
prayer. Yeah, so it
Gotta
was.
love the rodeo, baby.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fun. So
But they're doing it kind of like you get taxed 10%, and then they raise your taxes up to 70% forever, and then they back it down to 45%, and you're like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
well, I think, like I said, I think with this whole making everybody get the shot thing, it's the frog in the boiling water.
It is.
thing.
It is.
You
Yeah.
put the frog in the pot, and you slowly boil the water, and he doesn't
realize
even
it, yeah.
know. So I mean, I think that's what's happening with this. I don't.
Oh, we're gonna do a happy broadcast next time.
No, we're not. Because we'll get on.
Next
rant.
time
There's
you're not
gotta
gonna
be
be
some
here.
happy stuff out there somewhere.
Next time you're not going to be here. Who knows
I'm not
what's
gonna
going to
say-
happen?
Probably be
Oh, that's
happy
true.
next
This
time.
might get really interesting.
I'm the one that kind of sets the tone for the whole thing.
That's
so
true.
yeah, maybe it'll be happy the next time. But we are the Gospel Broalition. We thank you so much. Like and subscribe down at the bottom. We appreciate you taking the time. If you made it this far to the end, you are an unusual person. Because most of the time we don't. I'm sure my Proud Boys expose will be cut out because
It'll be edited by YouTube.
yeah. Proud Boys, what you gonna do?
What you
What you gonna do, Antifa, when they come for you?
Get your butt kicked. That's what's going to happen.
We can say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was sort of unannounced last week, but if you noticed, you can leave comments on our videos now.
Oh no.
no.
By the way,
So
I
I
know
will heavily moderate these comments, but have at it.
and
Yeah.
I will tell you one person will not be reading them
I don't read them.
because he will drive to your house.
I'll drive to your house.
You ever seen Jay and Silent Bob? That's
and
what's
I
going to
will
happen.
slap you like the worthless coward you are.
So we're about to see how many people like or agree with the types of things that we say,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or when you don't, and I delete you.
Yeah. And if you make it
So you can
personal,
say what you want.
It's
but-
the same thing.
Yeah.
We put on this show to put our opinion in front of you.
right?
And
Start
if
your own podcast.
I can still delete your opinion.
Yeah. And if you make it personal, then we're going to get on here and make fun of you.
Oh, that might be interesting.
Our comments just might become short material. That's right.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey-o.
Yeah. So we're doing that. Like I said,
Are any suggestions for stuff you'd like to see covered?
Yeah.
Throw it down there.
Anything you'd like to hear us talk about. And but don't get any blue hairs on here and talk about our lack of religious content and stuff like that, because we'll just make fun of you.
Yeah, we don't care.
We
already
talked
make
about
fun of you.
religion for 25% of this
We
show.
actually, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. All right, we love you guys. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
The Gospel Broalition is done, leaving behind charred minds,
Gosh, man, that was an hour.
exhaust fumes, ammo,
Poor G.
multiple
He's like, it's
cigar
bedtime
wrappers,
after watching
and an empty
this much.
bottle.
I know.
Bourbon.
Did you see his comment this week? He says, I didn't even get to finish my popcorn this week
You've
before
been
it was
listening
over.
to the Gospel
What?
Broalition
Yeah,
with
he was less
Pastor
than an hour.
Lee, J.R. Robinson,
Well, he's
and the
finished his
Hoosier
popcorn this
Hillbilly, Mike
Yeah, he's
Paul.
got an extra 10 minutes.
A show for men, by men. If it's
do you
religion,
guys think?
politics, cars, guns,
Hold on.
cigars,
Does the token
and
liberal
anything else
agree with
flammable,
anything we just
we're
said?
talking about it.
He
We
said
hope you
no.
enjoyed the
He
show.
said absolutely
Brown
not.
boys.
We're wrong. He's
We'll
going to
be back
heavily
soon, and thank
edit this
you
video
for being
later.
a part of the
I wanna join the
Gospel
Proud
Broalition.
Let's do it. I just want to do it. I want to do it just to piss people off.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
How do you join?